practices in?
Larkin Hoffman's a very diverse practice, but it's clearly focused on businesses. You can address business succession, normal business acquisitions and sales, intellectual property rights, litigation, development, franchise. It caters to the whole range of business needs.
How large of a firm is it?
We tend to have about 80 attorneys and then other professionals related to help us. And the firm is probably 150 people total.
So I've got some friends who work at various law firms around the country, and they always like to use words breadth and depth. Would you say Larkin Hoffman's a firm that offers breadth and depth when it comes to practice areas and staff?
Absolutely. I think we have one of the premier real estate practice groups in the area. We've done amazing projects from the Mall of America to any number of large developments. We've got a franchise group that's nationally recognized and has taken brands from brand new to huge names in the industry. So there's not only depth, but there's depth and experience, which I think is even more important.
Experience is really interesting. So have you been around for a long time, or are you kind of new on the scene?
I'm actually, in Larkin Hoffman terms, I'm fairly new. I've only been there 8 years, but we have people that have been there 40, 45 years, and a large number of them who love the firm, love the practice that we have, and have done a great job of serving their clients and building the firm for years.
You said you've had people there for 45 years. So how far back does Larkin Hoffman go?
Larkin Hoffman celebrated their 60th anniversary a year ago. So we go back to 1958. It started out with 4 individuals, and we have grown into the firm we are today.
And when you say we've grown into the firm we are today, what would you say the reputation of Larkin Hoffman is amongst your peers and other counsels that you litigate with or negotiate with?
Again, it's a business-focused firm. I think if you asked firms around the area, they would lock on to our real estate litigation, real estate development practice as one of the preeminent practices in the state. But the same applies to all sorts of different practices. We have an amazing depth of practice in the business group, in the litigation group, in the intellectual property group. There's real depth there.
What do you think is an emerging practice area for Larkin Hoffman? You've made your kind of stake and claim in real estate and things. What do you think is up and coming, or you're kind of starting to build a nice category?
Well, I think that there are a couple areas that come to mind. One is our real estate tax group is really growing rapidly, and then they're certainly a niche practice, but they're a very attractive practice in the industry. I also think that we're somewhat unique in that we do policyholder insurance coverage litigation, and we've got some real depth. Most of the firms around the Twin Cities do work for insurers, and it's difficult for them to take a case against an insurance company. That's never been our focus. Our focus has been on businesses, and so we're able to help policyholders, get what they deserve under a policy.
So you've mentioned a couple times now that you're a business law firm. Are you sort of a go-to for any business where you can handle, business legal needs A to Z, or do you have to kind of bring in side counsels for certain areas?
No, I think for the most part, we can go from A to Z. We have, not only do we have the business groups, but we have the associated trusts and estates groups who can help business owners through transition issues. But yeah, we can handle business needs, whether they're tax or litigation, acquisitions, sales, the whole gamut.
Talk a little bit about business transition. You're saying that for trusts and things like that. Just touch on that a moment.
Well, it's a reality in the business world now that one generation wants to make sure they can leave their legacy business for the next, and there are real challenges to that, whether it's tax-wise or just negotiating the transition. we've done a lot of that. We're very experienced. We can help companies through that whole challenging process.
Talk a little bit about the culture of the law firm. You know, every law firm kind of, some are very stoic, some are very kind of casual. What are the people like? What's the environment like? Kind of, why would I want to work with Larkin Hoffman versus firm X?
You know, I think when you look at Larkin Hoffman, the one unique factor we have is we're not a downtown firm, and that's far more than just geography. It has to do with the relationship with the community. We've always had a very close relationship with Bloomington, Bloomington's development, Bloomington's art scene, their theater. But it also is a reflection on the relationship of the business and family. It's important for people to be able to go from office to home quickly. They can do better things with their life. They can focus when they're at work. They can get home and be with their families quickly. So I think our choice of location really says a lot about what the firm is about. We're about good product, and we're about making sure people can enjoy their families.
Let's talk about the people. You talked about you were very, well, maybe it wasn't conscientious why you chose your physical location, but you made it part of your culture. What are Larkin Hoffman people like? What do you look for and say, yep, you're going to fit into our world?
First of all, we want talent. You know, it's kind of the first cut when we're out there looking for people. Are they talented? But beyond that, the real important factor is the industry knowledge, and that is identifying people who have experience in fields that a lot of other people don't have, whether it's groups in our government relations department who have, you know, worked in the government or have worked with politicians or who have real intimate knowledge with that process. And that applies to all the groups. But it's that industry knowledge that sets them ahead of the competition, frankly.
It sounds like relationships that have been built up, not just internally, but with the people you're litigating for or against or with, are really an asset to you.
Not only an asset, but I think it's the key to effective legal representation. If you can work with a company for a long period of time, identify problems and eliminate problems before they ever result in litigation, you've done a far better job for your client than if you ultimately win the piece of litigation. And I think what we've done at Larkin Hoffman is develop these lifelong relationships so that we can avoid cases ever occurring. And I think that's really our best victories.
So your best protection is avoidance of legal issues.
Prevention, prevention, prevention. Figure out where your problems are and eliminate them ahead of time. You'll never have the joy of having won a case, but you will know inside you've made the best business decision.
So from that standpoint, it's interesting that you're not serving your own sort of interest of having that big trial case where you have to win. You're really out for the client's interest.
Well, I think it's the way you can develop long-term relationships. The reality is there will always be another case, but you can develop a better trusting relationship if you find ways to avoid cases from the very beginning.
Is it common that you actually have to bring in multiple disciplines or teams of attorneys to handle a case or a situation or a client?
Yeah, you know, I came from a firm which was litigation only. One of the first realizations I had when I joined Larkin Hoffman was that I could solve a problem my client had quicker by going to talk with people in our government relations department and have them negotiate with other people. And it was a little bit shocking that you know, a case that could have gone on for years could suddenly be solved by a different group so quickly. It's a real advantage, and it's important for clients to be able to put all of those talents together.
So there is a collaborative atmosphere that takes place.
Absolutely, it's you know, it just happens so constantly that you don't. It's not really intentional. It just happens. If you have, if you have an area, a problem in a specific area, you know who you can go talk to. They're right down the hall. They're right upstairs, and you're smarter when you're done with that.